Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McLaughlin?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell? Present. Councilman Toppori?
Here.
Councilman Ruthven?
Here.
Councilman Boyd?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. I make a motion to open up the public hearing on the tax cap.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So this is something that we had discussed last week. I have a feeling that's why a lot of people are here tonight about the increase in the taxes this year. I think I'm going to start by some inaccurate information that I saw on Facebook from residents with them. They saw on here, and they're correct, that we are going to be allocating money for an EV charger, ERT equipment, all that stuff. So we're using ARPA funds for that. ARPA funds was the COVID money. ARPA funds cannot be used to balance our budget or to pay everyday expenses. There's a criteria that they have to fall into. So we are given an electric car from Senator Harckham, and we have to come up with the rest of the money to pay for the EV charger for the police department. So we are taking money from our ARPA funds to pay for that. There is no tax increase to the residents coming because of the EV charger, none of that. The bridge at Lake Carmel, that was FEMA money that we're getting in, so it was a large amount of money, but we are getting FEMA funds back for that. Does anyone else? I don't know.
I think there's a lot of the projects we're working on right now that are
Yes.
all related to ARPA. We're kind of getting to a timeline with ARPA where we need to start finishing it up, especially the ARPA and the tax.
I want to find.
The tax share money we got from the county had a timeline on it. We have to have those not necessarily spent, but allocated and the project's going by the end of the year, or we have to give the money back. We don't get to use it. So those are where you see a lot of our expenditures and our big projects going toward right now.
Yes, and in our budget this year, there's no frivolous spending of any sorts. And the only thing that we could use ARPA funding for that was in the budget this year was actually the second police car for the police department. And actually Kevin brought it to my attention and said, why don't we use ARPA funds? So we were able to take that big chunk of about $70,000 out of the budget this year and use ARPA funds for it. So the increase that you see in the budget this year is for our new EMS that we're starting. Unfortunately, it's become pertinent that we have our own EMS department in the town of Kent because the reaction time for calls, if you called, it could be 30, 40 minutes before an ambulance comes to you. Today, we are one of the last towns to have their own EMS. So we had to go that way. So that is a big chunk of the increase this year. The other increases in the budget are cost of gas is going up. We see it when we go to the grocery store. Parts for the cars that the mechanics fix in our own municipal repairs. That's the increase.
Contractual expenses,
Yes.
healthcare expenses, stuff that we.
Costs that we have no control over.
Correct.
Next week when we have it's going to be on, we're going to be setting it tonight, the public hearing for the budget. Our accountant will be here to go over all of the exact numbers and show you where all the increases are. But I just wanted to address some of the things that I had been seeing. So I don't know if anyone else, questions, comments. All of our budget meetings have been open to the public. They've all been advertised. So nothing has been done behind closed doors or anything like that. Everything is very open. It used to be a supervisor's budget. Before I was supervisor, it was the supervisor had the budget and she would release it and no one on the board would see it until the budget was released. So when I came on, I started doing it a little differently and we all are involved from the beginning. That way we all know exactly where we are right from the start. You know what we have to cut, what we have to add, so everyone's been involved in it.
Yeah.
So
And the EMS, that's an expense this year, but EMS should begin to pay for itself, if not pay for itself next, and in the future. In other words, they're going to start.
2025, we will start making, we will bring in revenue from EMS. It will start making, it's not a moneymaker, but we will be bringing money back.
Or recoup some of the
Yes.
expenses through the insurance payments and the Medicare, I get it wrong, Medicare and
Medicare, and
Medicaid
both.
payments. That'll start putting some of the money back toward EMS, but there's a lot for a startup cost for a new department. And Supervisor McGlassen's right, we are the last town in Putnam County to have a designated EMS service, and we're relying on service from other towns right now. Our volunteer fire departments did the best they could for many, many years, but the truth is they just don't have the volunteers to give us the full 24-hour service anymore. So we're relying on other towns to get here. And if Carmel's busy, Carmel's the closest, then we've had to have Phillipstown come all the way to Kent before, and that's a long ride.
If you have an emergency, you don't want to be waiting for an ambulance to come from Phillipstown to help you. It's the kind of thing that you hope you never need, but if you need it, you want it there immediately. So, Eileen, do you want to? Yeah, you can come up, that's fine.
And I have to admit, I'm coming at this very cold. You know, Anthony said we're going to the meeting tonight, and I got rough, and I appreciate you addressing right up front the rumor mill and the social media mill, because, you know, this is where we get our information now, well, whatever it is. And so I'm just curious in regard to the bridge. You know, I mean, what I'm hearing, can you clarify the reality of what that is about? Because I'm hearing like millions of dollars, and maybe would you mind just clarifying that for us? So.
Exactly.
So, first of all, we had the highway superintendent at a past meeting. You're welcome to listen to that one.
I'm sorry I missed that. Okay.
He came in to try to clarify that. He had a good saying, you can say anything, you can make up any rumor you want on social media, but you can't make up the facts, because the facts are the facts.
I think you actually can make up facts.
Oh, it is on the, I'm sorry, Lon's just making sure we know, it is on the webpage as well. And
Okay,
it was posted
okay.
on Facebook.
But we can.
Rough
But we
strokes,
can-
if
we
you
can
Very
just-
quickly
yeah,
go through it
yeah,
again.
Cliff Notes.
We lost the bridge, 2 years ago now in a hurricane?
Yep.
And we applied for FEMA for it with some other projects on Lake Carmel. That was the big one. You know, the other stuff we can get done rather quickly, and they're getting proposals for that. I'll give you an example. Some boat launches got washed out, so they're gonna do a hardened boat launch, so they stop eroding into the lake.
Right.
Some fishing docks and bulkheads were damaged and stuff, but all that's minor stuff compared to the bridge. The bridge has been replaced, according to the highway superintendent, help me with the number here, a number of times through
I think it was washed out 3
hurricanes,
times.
hurricanes and superstorms.
Was it a footpath? Can you
Yes,
just
it's
tell
the
me what
walk-
it
it's
is?
The walking
It's a
bridge.
walking bridge.
It's a walking
Okay.
bridge.
Is it going to be replaced in kind, or it's going to be a
So-
drive over? Okay.
You'll be able to drive over it, and it always was.
For emergency
The-
vehicles,
The maintenance
not a
crew,
road.
the maintenance crew always used it to drive over because of where their maintenance building is. Instead of going out on the state
Yep.
highway, they would go around and go down and drive over it with their smaller vehicles or
Okay.
however they wanted to, the lawnmowers and everything.
Okay.
But the bridge we got for free, and it is a heavy-duty bridge. We got it from the University of Buffalo. We had to pay for the shipping, but they donated us the bridge. They had built it through their engineering department, and we had to pay for a trucking company to go up, pick it up, and bring it back for us.
Well,
It's
that's
a-
nice.
It's a steel structure with a concrete deck on it, although it will end up with a wood deck on it when it's set in place and done. That being said, we decided that to do this, we were gonna put it in so it never got washed out again. You know, we're gonna put it in so it's a bridge that'll stay there, not just some culvert pipes that are rotting out or get washed out. They did a whole bunch of studies on it. They found out the hydrology of that stream coming in. They knew how many gallons of water came through per minute on a storm, on a regular day and on a storm. And they engineered it so that they could put it in there with abutments that would allow the water to go through for any storm in the future. In fact, it will probably withstand a storm better now than Terry Hill will, because Terry Hill was completely inundated during that hurricane. It was impassable. But
Gotcha,
this
yeah.
bridge will be able to be used. And FEMA came back, and we have a cost, I don't know what we're gonna end up spending, but the actual low bid that came in was up around, what?
$729.
$729,000 to drive the sheet piling in, and do the coffer dams to pour all the footings and everything to set this.
Which is an
in place.
upgrade from what it was, but it won't wash out, right?
So,
Okay.
and it's resetting the bridge. They picked the bridge up from where we had it in storage, taking it back to their yard, sandblasted it all off, painted it, and they're putting the wooden deck and everything on it there, so it'll be ready to set in place.
Yeah, nice.
So it'll be a
nice.
permanent bridge that we'll never have to worry again. In the end, we're gonna end up paying out of pocket, I think, $30,000 or $40,000. I think that was,
It was about 30, which is what it cost us each time the bridge washed away.
Yep.
And FEMA wouldn't pay for us to put back in place what had been washed away 3 times before.
Because they're FEMA, right?
Yes, and because
They
it
don't-
obviously
they don't
wasn't
wanna keep
working.
investing
Right.
into the same thing
Right.
over and over again. I don't
Okay.
know if it was ever put under a FEMA project before, but they realized that, I mean, we could have went back and did it again and they would have given us some money to throw it back in. But they're pushing these municipalities, us included, to harden these structures.
Yep.
To put structures back in that they're not gonna have to pay for again 5 or 10 years down the road when the next storm comes through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything was designed for a 100-year storm a while back. But
Yes.
a 100-year storm's coming every couple of years for us now, you know?
Okay. Will the public use it? I know you said it's for emergency vehicles. Will we know that? Will people drive over it?
If we have to divert traffic over it, we would be able to. It won't
And you'll
be-
know if we're
Will it be
diverting
open to the
traffic.
public? Like, if I start using it as a shortcut? Is
No,
that
no,
available
drive
to
on?
me?
No.
No,
it's
it's
not
only
a
for
public road.
emergencies. It's only to be
Okay,
used for an
it'll
emergency.
have to be
You can
opened
use it
in
to
an
walk
emergency.
over.
Yeah, yeah.
I see, okay. Okay, so the FEMA money, that's FEMA money for that percentage of it. No FEMA money could go to the EMS establishing? I mean, that feels like a,
So we're putting some of the ARPA money for this year, for the startup costs. We had, at another meeting, we had allocated money for that. But we need to be able to cover, since we can't make a guess of what we're going to bring back in revenue from EMS. So we have to fund it for 2025. 2026, we'll have a much better idea of what's coming back in, and it won't be as much that we.
budgets have a way of never going lower, though, you know, so, I mean, let's put that here now and say, that is something that really ought to be looked at next year then and offset, right, by its operational costs. And is there a location for this EMS?
So we have, yes, they're using the substation for Kent Fire Department. We've renovated
Lake
part, Lake
Carmel.
Carmel, I'm sorry, Lake Carmel.
Fire Department on
We've, Farmers Mills Road,
Farmers Mills Road, they've given us
a portion
a
of it.
portion of that.
Okay. Oh, right out here?
Yes.
Yeah, close, okay. Okay.
Just to answer one of your questions.
Yeah.
You can't use FEMA for that type of thing.
Okay.
FEMA money is specific to the damage caused by the storm.
Yes.
They're repairing damage done by the storm, and that's how they come out and analyze it and look at it.
Okay. While I'm standing here, I'm just going to say, there were rumors of like walking paths and a budget for.
So we had used some of the ARPA funding. I think there's actually in the backup, I'm sorry, give me 1 second so we had used some of the ARPA money for a walking path.
Okay.
So that's what you see on there and stuff. So nothing in the budget for 2025 is.
Taxpayer.
No, this is not
Okay.
from that. This was what we use the ARPA funds for.
Okay,
That's complete.
This is done.
okay, that's great. I mean, that's cut to the chase. So any taxpayer increases for the EMS?
That
For
is
the
the.
increase in service, which we need as a town, for the EMS?
Yes.
EMS and cost of operational expenses.
Well, that's pretty clear. I
Gas,
appreciate that.
stuff
I
like that.
appreciate you going over that. Okay, thank you.
Any other?
Julie Boyd. But looking at the budget, under EMS, you put in for 250 estimated income, 250,000. Our expenditures for this year will be close to 650,000. I'm not arguing, we need it. But how much of this is still startup versus what it will cost yearly to operate this?
The startup is done. The startup is all being.
So it's gonna be $650,000 for us to run our EMS every year with increases.
No, it won't. That 650 was the startup fees. That
We
was.
had startup fees last year on the budget also.
me.
We had like 55,000.
So on the 29th, Julia will be here to go on. So me just see if I can find it. I'm
No,
not as
there
good
was,
as,
there
I'm
was
not as good
some,
as Julia
because
is
we
with
knew,
the.
not this summer, we knew the past summer, we were going to have to start an EMS. You guys put some money in as a line item. It wasn't much. It was something like 55,000, because we already knew we were hiring someone. When budget time came last fall, you'd already picked out someone to hire to start setting this up. So
No,
We
no,
hired
no.
her in the spring.
She just started in
We didn't know we
May.
were doing that. That's when
last
we,
year budget, we talked about, we already knew, Pat, you guys last fall decided we were doing EMS.
Boy,
It
I
was
don't-
not this year.
I don't believe so, Julie. I
All
really
right.
don't.
I'll
'Cause we-
I'll
We
go
go
look at the
back and forth.
budget.
Does anyone else remember?
We had been meeting, let's go back, not this past summer, but the summer before, at the end of the summer before, we had met twice with both the Lake Carmel Fire Department and the Kent Fire Department. And they were starting, in fact, I think Nancy came to one of our meetings with
did.
them with a huge group of people at the Lake Carmel Firehouse. And that's not this summer, but the summer before, they started telling us, we got a problem, and you guys need to figure out what we're
Well,
gonna do with
and the
that.
county came down and changed.
There was a lot of different factors.
And that would have cost us
And-
money
and
as well.
we truly had, I'll speak for myself, I had a hard time wrapping my head around what they were trying to tell us, and it took a while. And we got to, I think, around in December, and we set up a joint meeting, our first meeting with a smaller group in January, at the end of January, maybe even the first week of February, because they were kind of pushing us, they were saying, we haven't heard from you. That's when we sat down and started really discussing what all the different options were, and that's where we said, well, if you're telling us that we have this option, and this option, we think we should go with the option that we chose to go with. And it wasn't long after that, the person that we hired was working for the county. They were coming to that meeting to try to give us guidance from the county, and then we offered them the job. soon
And I
after
stand
that.
corrected, this year has gone very fast and last
Yeah,
year seems
no,
like it was this year. Is there any way we could use the balance of the ARPA fund to offset a little bit more of the startup cost? You still looks like on your page you have 151,000 that we haven't allocated.
It's a question we need to ask Julia.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
money we're moving around, we're trying to use, as I said, the county money, because we have a deadline.
But I don't think we'll ever make enough income to cover this. This is always going to be something that's gonna cost us money.
Well,
Employees-
there's
Employees
ways,
cost us money.
Yes,
As business owners,
forever.
we know, employees cost us money forever, and as
So-
they
so we're-
age, they cost
yes,
us more
forever.
money.
We're not going into this blind thinking it's gonna be a zero.
No.
There's expenses for operating an ambulance service that end up being a burden on a taxpayer. That's the truth of the
Disability,
matter.
workers' comp, all that kind of stuff.
And sadly, there's gonna be times when our ambulances pick people up that we're never gonna get money back from. That's the way it's happening with everybody we've talked to, but we have to eat those costs, it's part of it.
but there are ways to offset the costs as well. For
Yes.
example, during times that there's not an emergency going on, if we have the 2 ambulances in service, you can do, like with the nursing home in Kent, they can do like trips to the hospital. They're not, transportation, non-emergency.
Okay.
And that's ways to recoup the money. But again, we can't guarantee that right now because
Right.
we haven't, once we're up and running, then it will be more realistic. But it's not realistic to say, okay, we're gonna make X amount of dollars next year by doing this.
Okay, so at the next meeting, it'll be more of a line item.
Julia will
going
go,
up.
Julia
Okay.
will be here to explain every single thing. I mean, I have it here and I can tell you the
Oh.
breakdown. It is a lot
No,
of,
I know, I have it here.
oh,
so.
okay. Well, I mean, it's a lot of, I mean,
Make
honestly,
straight
it's,
scrap paper later.
I mean, between, just, hospital, FICA, all that, like that's, $90,000.
You know,
It's,
And I understand that, from the business perspective, everything's gone up this year. The only problem I see in long range is, we're not gonna be able to afford to live here. With the reassessment, the increase last year, when we do the reassessment, things are going to go up because we're so underassessed. Some things will. School taxes are going up every year. It doesn't matter what we vote on, it still goes. You can't say things aren't going to go up. At a certain
but we'll be
point,
paying more of our
as
fair
landlords,
portion.
we're gonna have to start charging more for our tenants, and we will be pricing ourselves out of any affordable apartments to keep people here.
So let's address the reassessment. I'm gonna use $1 million as a general, and you know this as well as I do. If our tax levy spread across all the residents is $1 million,
Yeah.
and they reassess everybody's home values, we're still only raising $1 million on tax assessment. We're not raising $1.5 million. We're trying to redistribute how the $1 million is raised by the people that may be underassessed, the people that are overassessed. So when the New York State guy came down, he goes, it usually runs through a reassessment in the rule of three.
Right.
You're gonna find about a third of the people are underassessed on the value of their homes, and their taxes are gonna go up. That's just them paying their fair share. A third of the people are overassessed on the value of their homes, and their taxes are gonna go down. And a third of them usually stay right about the same. So it's not that we're doing a reassessment to raise more money from taxes. The reassessment redistributes how the taxes for the same exact amount are raised each year.
But don't you think because we were so low, that thirds might not necessarily work as well? It might be more 40 one way, 20 somewhere else.
It could
Because
be.
it's
We-
not going to, we were so undervalued. We were only a couple years back. It used to be the thirds. It was always easy to explain. I have my
But
doubts.
the tax, amount of tax being raised by tax levy to come into the town isn't changing. It's changing for what we have to change it each year to operate. So it's gonna go up a little because we have to raise, the tax levy a little bit this year. But we're not doing this we're doing it to redistribute it, because we did found, and that's why that percentage that you see through that is so far off and askew, and we actually get punished by it. We especially get punished by it on the school taxes, because we end up paying in Kent, the residents in Kent pay a larger portion of the school taxes because our assessment value is so off kilter. If we can stay up within that 95%, and we get, I think, 5% leeway on that, then we'll pay the same equal level as the town of Carmel and everybody else. Because everybody else in the school district. But right now, because we're down in the 60s, I think, right now, we're paying, the residents of Kent are paying an unfair portion of the Carmel School District taxes.
What did our taxes go up last year? What was the percentage we ended up with? Was it 4?
School or
School
No.
or town?
town? It was, I
Just
believe it
over
was
2, I believe it was.
I think so.
Just over
So
2.
what are you
Points.
looking at this year?
Where are we at?
Well, now, because we took out the police car, that was a good substantial amount, so I don't know exactly where we are now, maybe about 7.
Let's wait and find out
Yeah.
next week when Yulia's here.
Well, but that's what you're asking us about, our input on a cap.
Well,
So
so,
We know we
no,
have to do that.
this
This
is,
is
so
something
the tax
required.
cap is about 3%. So we're, even if we voted that we can break the cap and we didn't have to, we could go, it doesn't matter. It's just something that you kind of can do as a precautionary measure. So,
Okay.
tonight, I'm just trying to clarify because I see the rumors on Facebook and stuff, and I understand it's upsetting about the taxes. We live here. I mean, we all live here, all of us on here. We all have families. And it is difficult. When you go to the supermarket, it's hard to pay for groceries because it's so expensive. Like, this budget, I don't want anyone to think that like, we sat there like, great. I mean, I tell them all, I'm like, guys, I lost sleep. I had nightmares about this. Like, this isn't fun. This isn't,
No, it's probably the least fun of any of
I've
your
lived
jobs.
here my whole life, and I've chosen to raise my family here. And, I love the town of Kent, I really do. And we're trying so hard here to make it, as affordable. But unfortunately, with the rising costs, there's just things that are out of our hands. We can't control when the medical goes up. We can't control when parts that were, filters for the cars, they were telling me, were $7, now they're $22 for the same filter.
I'm
That's a
sure- I'm
huge,
sure.
you know.
In your business,
Well,
you know that the
but-
price of buying a truck is 3 times, what it used to be $50,000 is now $75,000.
But also, as a business person, I've learned that I've had to shop around. Places, sadly, that I would used to always go to, never thought. We've seen things marked up 3 times more, and if I go 20 miles, 10 miles more, not even within the 20-mile radius from here, I can get it back to that $7. So I really think, towns have issues on where they buy things and stuff, but I think we, as
But we-
stewards, those people, we should be shopping.
And we do.
We have
do.
to. We're legally obligated
have
to
to.
follow a
Okay.
procurement policy.
But I just know personally that, we've had contracts with businesses that supply our filters. And when we actually looked at it, I paid, $30 for something that I could call someone else and get for $7. So it just.
We're pretty good about following our procurement policy. I do know that the highway superintendent's even been buying stuff from auction this year, trying to find better deals that way, because, you go off state contract, it's not always the best deal. Everybody thinks when you're in a municipality, you just gotta
No, I think they charge you guys more than they charge the rest of us. Government, that golden toilet seat,
Right.
it does exist somewhere.
$100 hammer.
So Julie, I'm going to soft pitch this to you. What would be your idea to make it so we didn't have to raise the taxes? What do you think the town of Kent needs to do?
No, it's an easy question. I know why you soft pitched it to me. We need more businesses. That's what we need. We need to enhance, and later we're going to discuss why we should, the businesses we have, we shouldn't maybe impinge upon them trying to advertise themselves. Business, we've always been. We never, years ago, way before me, there was a pitch where the highway department, in that area or something, for some towns, you know, a shopping mall or something. We didn't get that. We don't get any benefit because we never got Patterson Crossing. We do have things. There are things I know that are in front of the planning board that, you know, hopefully everything will work out right. They'll bring some more revenue into us. We've talked with Ann last week. It was like Christmas in Kent sitting in here. All the things, if we could have whatever we wanted, we sat there and pitched it. All things that would make our business community a lot better. And that's the way a good percentage of people in the room looked at it. If we emphasize our business district, if we try including people a little bit more, try getting them to want to even enhance the look, that can be attractive. But Ann's working on that, and hopefully we'll get it, and then it will be Christmas in Kent
All year long.
all year long.
And you're referring to the grants that
That
Ann's working
one
on,
of,
New York
which are
yes,
We're
New York
all
New York
Forward.
Forward, which are
You know,
zero
so-
match, so none of
Right,
that
so
money comes out of
that's
our
why it is. It would be Christmas in Kent.
Yeah.
You know, thank you.
And what's the high number on that, Ann?
It's a $4 million grant, and it's very competitive, and we're trying again, and I'm grateful to everyone who has participated, who came to the meeting, and to everyone out there who has completed our survey online. I'm probably going to have to stop and collect those responses tomorrow, but you can still do it tonight, and I'm grateful for the help in putting this all together. Thank you.
Any other? It's on the town website. If you go to the homepage, right? It's right on the.
Yes, it's on the
right
town
homepage.
website, New York Forward. Thanks.
One thing,
You gotta stand up here.
no.
No?
Did you notice that Julie said our rents are gonna have to go up, Sean?
Don't tell anybody that on camera. I did catch that, by the way.
Okay. Yes.
I'm not gonna get up just to answer a simple question, I'm sorry, Chris. Could you please inform the residents here, I think you started to, before, what the timeline is now as far as this and the budget?
Oh. So we're going to set the public hearing for tonight, and then we will have the public hearing on 10/29. That's when Yulia will come and present the budget to everyone formally and answer exact, numbers or whatever. And then, you're putting me on the spot now. I got to go back and, I know, it is, but the confusing thing is that we do it once a year, so you always forget what the dates are. So hold on one second. I'm pulling up our email, Bobby. I know we have to close the public hearing the Thursday after Election Day, and then we have until the end of November to adopt the budget.
November 20th.
Thank you, November 20th, to adopt the budget. It can be adopted before that point, but that is the last possible day to adopt it.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments? Okay, I make a motion to close the public hearing for the tax cap.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You want to read this?
This one, right? This long.
Yep.
I make a motion to pass a resolution. What resolution is this on?
This will be number 3. It's local law number 3.
Local law number 3.
She does the resolution number there.
Oh, okay. I make a motion to pass a resolution for the adoption of local law number 3 of 2024, whereas the town board of the town of Kent has proposed a budget in excess of 2% limit established in general municipal law 3-C, and whereas said request has been introduced before the town board of the town of Kent as introductory local law number 3 of 2024, and whereas a public hearing was held on October 15th, 2024 upon notice duly published and posted, and whereas public discussion was heard at such hearing concerning the merits of said introductory local law, and whereas in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and 6 NCRR Part 617 of the implementing regulations, the action under consideration constitute a type 2 action, and now therefore be it resolved, the introductory local law number 3 of 2024 of the town of Kent is hereby enacted by the town board of the town of Kent as local law 3 of 2024 of the town of Kent, and be it further resolved that a true copy of the law is attached hereto and made part hereof. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And also in regards to things that are going on in the town, I encourage everyone to call my office, email me, I will answer you. You know, it's really disheartening when I read on Facebook and people are like, no one told us anything, when we've been talking about it for months and months and months at meetings, and no one is here and stuff, and my agenda gets sent out generally the Friday before each meeting. You know, if you're not on my email list, you're welcome to send me an email or call my office and I'll add you to my email list so you get the agenda, but please come talk to us, any one of us, and ask us so you get the facts. It's not always true what you read on Facebook. My kids think everything's real on there, but it's not, so. All right, moving on. So our first item on the agenda is our ARPA. Tonight we are allocating $70,000 for a police car, $25,000 for ERT equipment for the police department, $25,000 for the Safe Streets for All, and $35,000 for the EV charging station to go with our EV vehicle that is being donated to us from Senator Harkin's office. Any comments? Questions? Yes.
Henry Boyd, Chamber of Commerce. Nothing to do with the Chamber of Commerce. Police cars and batteries. Police cars go into places that are wet, damp, and flooded. And according to the news media, all the cars were catching on fire, especially in salt water. We don't have any salt water here, thank God, except for what the town puts on the roads. But I'm against that, you know that. But is it really wise to start out with a car? I know it's going to be a freebie, but you know, is it going to be parked somewhere where it doesn't burn the police station down when it catches on fire?
So, as the police chief will tell you, I am not for the electric cars. I don't think it's feasible in a police department. I think you need triple the fleet, because how can you always make sure a car's charged? What if you're in the middle of a pursuit and your car's on E and you gotta plug your battery? Hold on, I have to charge up, give me 20 minutes.
You're getting my vote again, you know that, right?
It is being given to us as a gift from the senator's office. We are also getting a regular car as well. Excuse me? There are no gifts? I know. And we're very grateful that he's giving this to us. However, I'm going to tell you what.
It's not being used as a patrol
No,
car, it's
it
a
is
support
not.
car.
And my exact words to Kevin was, over my dead body, will the Kent Police have EV cars as their
Well,
fleet?
thank you for
So-
your answer.
Well, I don't,
Hybrid's a different story. I could get maybe behind the hybrids, you know?
Yeah, my daughter has one of those, and
But-
works 50 miles to gallon.
But I just,
So, but anyway, yeah,
I don't know. Kevin, do you wanna
things
come-
will change after a while. You don't have to respond to me. It's just when you come to my house and I hit you with a garden hose.
No, so the vehicle that we're getting is going to be used as an administrative vehicle to start with, but the wave of the future is the electric. We need to test it out and to start figuring out how we are going to use it, whether it's a mix at some point in the future. Right now, it's just one vehicle, and we'd like to get started with it and see how it's going to work out, and then whatever we have to do in the future, we'll do in the future. But it's a good start to start with, to see what we're going to do in the future. Okay? And that's all that is. And And it's not gonna be next to the police station, it's on the other side of the parking lot. And, you know, we could use it to charge up other things, hopefully, or other vehicles if we had to. Not open to the public, but for other town vehicles, do you know what I mean? So,
We don't have any other EV vehicles at the moment, just so everyone knows. None of our,
no, but we might in the future.
Yeah.
No, I think that's all I had, unless somebody else has something else. I mean,
I just want to comment, I don't want to wish active harm to our supervisor, but I think we do have to plan for the future, and I think we can anticipate that there will be a time that there will be vehicles that can be used for police work. And at that time, we would want to be prepared with a charger that can charge one of those vehicles up in 10 to 20 minutes, which is what we're looking at purchasing now. Rather than getting something that's going to be more of a trickle charge, the one in front of the library that we're getting is going to take several hours to charge a vehicle. This is going to be a level 3 charger. And, you know, I'm not aware of any huge problems unless you drive these things into salt water with EVs having, you know,
Yeah,
significant number of fires and things like that.
we don't want to go with the slow charger because if we did have to charge it up quickly, we would like it to be able to be reused quickly.
Yeah, there's also an issue though with the charger, that if at time of emergency, usually you have a power outage, right? That's the worst, and so you would rely on the generator to power the charger. That generator, those EV chargers take a lot of juice, and I guarantee you that that generator down there does not have the capability to run a charger. So when we're most desperate for it, it won't be there for us.
So, yeah, down the road, that's on our to-do list, is to find out the capacity of the generator that you have at the PD right now, whether it could handle a 120 kilowatt load from a charging station, and if not, then down the road, we may need to think about upgrading the generator, but that's down the road.
I would just like to say first, if I'm pulled over anytime in the next week, I want to be on record as that I may go against what he said tonight, okay? Just, everybody knows, right? You especially. Okay. And the last person in the world that wants to go against what Kevin has to say. But I think when somebody with the degree of credibility that Officer Chief Owens has gets up at the mic and says, "This is the way of the future," I think we have to slow that down a tiny bit, because I think we all know that the market is going to decide the way of the future. Nobody in authority is going to decide the way of the future. And addressing things like what you said about larger charging stations and safer things, all of this is still emerging technologies, and it's not here yet. So for us to label it the way of the future is a little premature, I just want to say. Now, again, if I'm pulled over,
If you don't break the vehicle and traffic laws, you'll be in good shape.
Okay. Just as an FYI, it was reported in the Albany News, out of the Capitol, that the GOP is actually going to push Hochul to slow down on any production of a vehicle over 8,000 pounds for various reasons. One, it's the trucking industry, but I mean, we laugh because a drill rig, we'd have to haul 6 generators and 1,000 pounds of gas to drill a water well. But they're slowing down on this because they don't think, A, the production won't meet it, and B, they finally said the infrastructure might not hold it. So, you know, there's a lot in the next few years on small, you know, everyday use EVs. There's different, but when it starts getting over 8,000 pounds, there's a little pushback right now because we're not ready to move there yet. So you can have fun.
yep, okay.
Yeah. Make a motion to pass a resolution to approve the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds, whereas the American Rescue Plan Act of 2022 ARPA provided fiscal recovery funds to county governments as well as other forms of government pursuant to U.S. Department of Treasury compliance and reporting guidance for the purpose of alleviating the fiscal stress caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the town of Kent has received funding from ARPA, and whereas the town of Kent Board has identified a number of projects that will benefit the town residents, the ARPA projects, and whereas the town board wishes to allocate ARPA funds to the following ARPA projects: purchase of a police car for $70,000, ERT equipment for $25,000, Safe Streets for All for $25,000, EV charging station for $35,000. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby approves the allocation of the ARPA funds to the ARPA projects as further described above, and further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I say a bit about Safe Streets for All? We're very excited to have been awarded this grant from the Federal Department of Transportation, and it's designed to enhance safety. It's a $200,000 project. The town's match is $40,000. Some of that will be in kind, and then the $25,000 here is coming out of ARPA. This is designed to, as a planning grant, not only to work on our transportation infrastructure to enhance safety, which we're also looking at through the pedestrian and cycling grant, but also for, community public education and even enhancing the EMS system. So we may be able to allocate some of that funding for planning to improve our EMS network when the time comes. The other thing that excites me about this grant is we've been trying to get funding through the DOT for sidewalks, right? The TAP grant, and we were unsuccessful last year. But my hope is that by showing our commitment through going through this planning process, that will improve our chances of getting the actual funding to start putting in some safety improvements in sidewalks. So thank you for the support. I thank the board, my board colleagues, and the supervisor for supporting this grant and the match.
Okay, our next item is to set the public hearing for the budget. Like I said, the budget public hearing will be on October 29th at 7 o'clock at Town Hall.
October 29th.
Any other comment? Any other? No? Someone want to read
Yeah, I
it?
got it.
Okay.
Make a motion to adopt a resolution providing for a public notice and hearing. Be it resolved that pursuant to town law, Section 108, the Town Board of the Town of Kent will hold a public hearing on the preliminary budget for the 2025 calendar year. And be it further resolved that copies of the preliminary budget be laid upon the desk of each member of the board. And be it further resolved that the Town Board will hold a public hearing on said preliminary budget at the Town Hall in the Town of Kent, New York, at 7 o'clock p.m. on October 29th, 2024. Be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published the attached public notice in the official newspaper of the Town of Kent of said public hearing at least 5 days prior hereto. I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Our next item is from the courts. Tonight, we are regrettably accepting the resignation of Judge Curtis's clerk, and he is asking us to appoint a new full-time clerk for his office.
When was the effective date today?
Nope, tomorrow.
16th? 62?
Yep.
Right. Any comment on it? No? I make a motion to pass a resolution accepting the resignation of a court clerk and appointing a new court clerk, whereas by letter dated October 4th, 2024, Jessica Edwards submitted a resignation from the position of court clerk effective October, this says October 21st.
It's the 19th.
It's the 19th? So that,
They'll overlap for a couple of
all
days.
right.
for tonight.
Effective October 19th, 2024, creating a vacancy in the position of Town of Kent Justice Court Clerk, and whereas the town justices have recommended that the town hire Kate Kahn as court clerk at an annual salary of $62,000, and whereas the town board wishes to accept the recommendation of the town justices, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Kent hereby accepts the resignation of Jessica Edwards as clerk of the Town of Kent Justice Court with regret and with thanks for her service to the town, and it is further resolved the town board of the Town of Kent authorize the hiring of Kate Kahn as clerk of the Town of Kent Justice Court effective October 16th, 2024 at an annual salary of $62,000. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next item is from our code enforcement officer. He is asking us to correct a violation at 17 Soul Drive. It's to clean up it's rubbish removal. removal of wood and debris along the rear of property at 17 Soul Drive. He went and tried to get 3 proposals for bids, and he was able to get 2. The third one would not submit, and the lowest was $1,800 for F.I. Adams to correct the bid, and that money goes directly back on the taxpayer, that particular taxpayer's taxes. Does everyone see the picture? I have the better picture.
What is this, firewood?
I don't know what it's just
Trash. It's like a pile of firewood.
Yeah.
there's concrete in there as well as pieces of fence.
Yeah, I see some colors.
Yeah. Someone want to read that?
Sure. Make a motion for resolution authorizing correction of violation. Let's see, whereas the code enforcement officer of the town of Kent issued an order to remedy violation dated February 27th, 2024, the order to remedy, directing the owner to remove rubbish at the property identified as 17 Soul Drive, Kent, New York, tax map number 33.17-1-45, the property. And whereas the order to remedy requires the owner to correct the violations or respond to the code enforcement office within 10 days, and to date, the owner of the property has not responded. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 55A of the Town Code of the Town of Kent regarding property maintenance, upon the failure of any owner to comply, the building inspector is authorized to correct the violation subject to the approval of the town board. And whereas the town board of the Town of Kent wishes to authorize the building inspector to correct the violation, and whereas consistent with the town's procurement policy, the Town of Kent requested 3 written proposals from contractors to correct the violation on the property and received 2 proposals in response, and copies of said proposals are annexed hereto and incorporated by the reference. And whereas F.I. Adams, Inc. submitted the lowest proposal in the amount of $1,800.00. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal of F.I. Adams, Inc. for the correction of the violation at the cost not to exceed $1,800.00, and be it further resolved that the actual cost of the correction of the violation plus the accrued legal rate of interest from the date of the completion of the work shall be charged to the property owner by the town in accordance with Chapter 55A-12B. I make this proposal.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Our next item is for the planning board. They are asking us to just,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to table this, but I'd like to say something about it first. So, I haven't seen a resume. I don't know if you guys have seen a resume for this person yet. We haven't interviewed this person, and as the town board, I believe that we are charged with the interest of the town to make sure that the people that end up on the town planning board are qualified to do so. So basically, I say that we wait until when we get a resume and an interview.
I don't have an issue if,
So I will say that I do remember when I first got on the town board and we would appoint planning board people, the planning board would interview their people and send them down to the town board for an interview process. We sat through a lot of planning board interview processes as well as zoning board and other boards. This does seem that we're not following that procedure. I'm not sure, we can talk to our attorney. Is there a proper procedure for putting people on these boards?
The town board does the appointing, and if you would like to meet the person that you're about to appoint and review their credentials, that's perfectly appropriate. There's no legal procedure that says it, but that's usually the way it's done.
Yeah, and I believe it's quite important. You know, the planning board really, is an important part of the government here. It will help, with business, bringing business into the town. We're talking about tax relief, which is very important. It's actually pretty good that these 2 things are on the agenda for this evening together. So I think that we have to make sure there's qualified people who can lead the town in the direction that it needs to go.
And,
Simon wants to
yeah, no, Simon can. I will say this, Simon, because it says on here, obviously, that you were elected chairman for 2025 and Tom Ferroni for vice chair. So that I will do at the January meeting. So the reorganizational meeting.
Simon Carey, Kent resident, also chairman of the planning board. As you know, she's already been as an alternate on the planning board, so you've approved her to be on the planning board. So you've already had the chance to interview her and talk to her. And you've seen what she's done before. You can look at all the tapes she has done, and she's well suitable to be in the position. And she's a lot of experience, and we did get a resume back when we initially had her in. We always get a resume. So we did get the resume. So we did follow proper procedure, and we did have a vote, and it was unanimous to make her. And I do understand that at the end of the day, it's up to you guys to, either appoint or not. But before, it's been told that you will try and honor what we have put forward. And the last time, obviously, it didn't. So, we were hoping that you would hold up what you had said before. And as you know, Chris, because you are the liaison to the board, that, we've always done everything procedural. So that's the way we normally do it. And I don't see a reason to hold it up. And unless you give a viable, you said you didn't have a resume. You did. The resume was submitted.
The resume
as
would
you
have come
know.
when we made her an
Yes.
alternate. So
When
that
you have an
would been-
alternate, you always have a resume come in
When
with a
was
letter
that?
of intent.
When-
That was done.
That was a while ago. I
That's a
don't
long time
remember.
ago.
Was Councilman Boyd on the board
Yes,
back then?
yes, he was.
I don't think it was that long ago, but it
No,
was.
he was on,
it
I think he was on the board at the time.
I don't even know if I can search for the
All right.
resume.
And do you interview everybody who puts in a resume for that position?
Yes, we do.
I know that somebody who did write a resume that was not interviewed,
Not yet.
not yet.
No.
Do you have other vacancies on the board?
Well, if we get her
Then you'll need
moved
an
on, we'll
alternate.
need an alternate. It's correct. So that is, we're going to interview your applicant for the alternate position.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
I'm the person they're talking about. Okay, my name is Jean Monet. I've been an alternate on the planning board since, I think, October.
Thank
And-
you. I couldn't remember.
Yes, and the resume was sent in, and I could certainly supply that with you, to you tomorrow. So just to give you my background, who am I? Which would be something that I think I would want to know about me.
Very good.
Okay, so I am from, New York. I've been here, I bought a house about 2.5 years ago, and love it up here. And where's my experience in about planning and all this? So I'm a therapist, a psychologist, a social worker, so I have 30 years of that. But I also was a co-op president and executive vice president for 28 years. So we went through roofs, we went to elevators, we went to budgets, had to raise the maintenance 17% once, which was not a happy place, but, it was 97 apartments. It was, New York City, and people get a little grumpy, and we were able to do it. And so I understand your, tax and assessment and all that. We had to reassess also in our co-op, our 97 apartments. So I'm kind of familiar with some of the language. I'm learning more and more about the planning and the actual, land and everything like that. I'm pretty interested. It's like a graduate course for me on top of what I have already. So I'm interested. And like I said, I devoted 28 years without pay to be the co-op president and executive vice president. And now I see that you guys get paid, and I'm shocked. All those hours. But anyway, that's not the reason. It's because I just want to get involved, and I always have been involved in my community. And that's it. That's who I am.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very helpful, and thank
Yes,
you for
thank
standing
you.
up
Yes.
and
Yeah,
giving us an
absolutely.
impromptu interview there.
We should-
We good?
So Simon, we're not going to vote on you for, okay.
Is that in the resolution?
I don't think it is, but I just want,
I can't, I gotta get new
It's not,
bifocals,
but
I
it will be
can't
on
read
there.
anything.
No, it's not.
in January, we'll do that. I promise. Do you have it?
I do,
Okay.
I just, are you?
Yeah, I can read it.
But did you make a motion to table, or are we gonna vote on that first? Did you
Right.
make a motion to?
Well, I didn't know that she was going to be here, and I think you get a decent explanation. I mean, I probably do
Sean,
We
you
made
can,
the
Are you pulling your
motion.
motion, or
No,
are we
well,
gonna
so you
vote
made the
on your
motion, do I
motion?
have a second?
You
I
can-
don't have a second?
yeah,
So
so
then,
you can withdraw it.
Yeah, so, all
you
right,
choose
so
to.
now I'll just withdraw the motion then.
and now make the new motion.
Okay, I make a motion to pass a resolution for the appointment of Monet as planning board member, whereas there is currently a vacancy on the Town of Kent Planning Board, and whereas by email dated October 10th, 2024, the planning board recommended that the town board of the Town of Kent appoint Jean Monet to fill the vacant position, and whereas the town board wishes to accept the recommendation of the planning board, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Kent hereby appoints Jean Monet to fill the vacancy on the town planning board. The term of Ms. Monet's appointment will be October 15th, 2024 through December 31st, 2028. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are we adding for recycling?
Yes, I make a motion to add an item for recycling.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I received an email today from recycling asking us if we could please approve the reskinning of a portion of the Kent Recycling Building. They received 2 quotes, and the third one did not come back in, so they're asking us tonight. Do you have the quote, Ann? Or Sue, can you tell me what the,
It wasn't her email, she had the.
maybe Ann, you can pull it up. I'm not gonna be able to pull it up on
So
my
you didn't
phone.
copy me on the one you sent today, but I think I had it from
Well, the one from
before.
today did not have the quote. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it did.
It did from today?
Yeah, you had to keep going down the page.
All right, hold on.
She's got it for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, it didn't respond, so, okay. I'm just gonna
Yep.
wing it, okay. I make a motion to hire Duben Steel Builders to rescan a portion of the recycling center for an amount not to exceed $5,800.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Am I good?
Yep. Do you need these back, Sue? Sue, do you want these back? Okay. I'm just gonna put them up here so that we don't.
I ask the board to approve the following vouchers from October 15th, 2024 that are over the threshold. All-season property maintenance, $3,000 for cemetery mowings for August and September. Arkle Motors, $8,463.01 for auto parts. At Upper Hudson Valley, $13,025 for truck parts. Barton and LaJudas, $5,750 for bike and pedestrian improvements. $9,109.95 for Sagamore Road culvert, $10,217.67 for the Ninham Road culvert. Brady's Power Equipment, $2,623.65 for Skag mower repairs. Capital Markets Advisors, $2,500 for the 2024 annual filing statement. Semco Water, $7,465.28 for Water District Number 1 for September. Cornerstone Associates, $2,500 for stormwater consultant for August. Elon Financial Services, $13,149.70 for the credit card for September. First Person Sports, $2,207.50 for balance laser tag. GAR Associates, $35,000 contract billing. Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood, $3,546.30 for bond anticipation note. Intercounty Paving Company, $324,336.59 for paving. Kingston Rental Equipment, $262,580 for partial billing for the pedestrian bridge. No B4 Inc., $2,772.90 for security training. Magna 5 MS, $7,563.51 for network services for October. Managed Technologies of New York, $4,275 for EMS HQ project. $2,769.24 for IT service from October 7th through October 20th. Whitney Bowes, is that right, for 13 days?
Whitney.
For the IT service?
That's what we pay, yes.
All right.
It's 2 weeks. It's-
Okay. Pitney Bowes, $3,000 for postage. Putnam Window Tint, $9,300 for the ambulance wrap. Ring Squared, $3,917.30 for telephone service. State Comptroller, $32,505 for Justice Court for August. Wind waste, $10,966.28 for Lake Carmel garbage, and $5,914.30 for Lake Carmel garbage. And we're adding Royal Carding, $5,078.67 for recycling. I ask the board to approve as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any announcements on the board?
Announcements, early voting. Oh, sorry to step on
Yeah,
you
go ahead,
there.
Sean.
Early voting starts October 26th, and these cards are available in the lobby. Maybe we can have them posted on the website too, just to show what people on there. It's important to get out and vote. Democrat, Republican, Independent, doesn't make a difference. And this is why it's important, because in Albany, if they looked at our town and said, oh, only a few people come out to vote, they probably won't give us a lot of attention. They're like, only a few people come out to vote. So if a lot of people come out to vote, and we want to do something, through our representatives in Albany, Washington, and they see that a lot of people in our community come out to vote, they're going to be much more likely to pay attention to us. So it doesn't make a difference what party you're from. Get out and vote. Again, we'll see if we'll put this online. Cards in the lobby.
Do you have anything?
I do not know.
Ann, do you want to?
Couple things. As always, I've been having fun browsing the library website. There's some Halloween-themed events. Oh, by the way, are you going to talk about trunk or treat?
Yeah, we can, after.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a Halloween-themed reptile program tomorrow at 5:30, up close and personal with the reptiles at the library. And they're starting a chess club that's going to meet on Mondays, one Monday in each of October, November, and December, starting the 21st. And that's for grades 3 and up. And there's a book club with a book that is a thriller described as Fried Green Tomatoes and Steel Magnolias Meet Dracula. That's Tuesday the 22nd at 5 o'clock at the library. Also, the Conservation Advisory Committee is hosting another astronomy event, the Star Party. That's going to be Saturday, November 2nd, here at Town Hall at 6 o'clock. And I think that's all I have, but I encourage you, as always, to check the library website.
So on Friday, October 25th, we are doing, with the Kent Fire Department, a trunk or treat out around Town Hall from 6 to 8. If we're just asking for people to bring donations that can be donated to the Putnam Humane Society. Also in our lobby, we have a box. We are doing a collection to bring people that have been affected by the hurricane items. So, we have a list, but really anything that you think that you would, that they would need, we've been collecting batteries, flashlights, anything. So we have the box out front if anyone wants to drop stuff off. That's all I have. Public comment?
Does anybody know when 311 is going to reopen?
They're saying November 11th.
November 11th?
That is the day that I'm
what it
seeing.
is?
Of this year?
Yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say no.
We could loan them a ridge probably to go over it. It's not up yet.
They're claiming that was always the date.
They're still gonna be on deadline?
I don't know if that was always the date, but that's what they're claiming.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I don't know.
I have a letter from the Carmel-Kent Chamber of Commerce. Dear members of the Town Board, on behalf of the Carmel-Kent Chamber of Commerce, I'm writing to address an important matter that has recently come to our attention regarding the use of feather flyer flags at local businesses. Feather flyer flags have become increasingly popular among businesses as an effective marketing tool. These flags are vibrant, eye-catching, and provide an affordable means for businesses to attract customers and drive traffic to their locations. Many of our local businesses rely on these flags to create visibility and draw attention to their services and products. However, it has come to our attention that there may be regulations or restrictions in place with the town that limit or prohibit the use of these flags. While we understand the need for maintaining aesthetic standards and ensuring public safety, we believe that a balanced approach can be taken to allow businesses to utilize these flags without compromising the town's visual appeal or safety standards. We kindly request that the Town Board consider revisiting and potentially revising any existing ordinances or regulations concerning feather flyers. The Carmel Chamber of Commerce is eager to collaborate with the Town Board to find a solution that benefits both the town and its businesses. We would greatly appreciate an opportunity to discuss this matter further and explore how we can work together to support our local economy. Sincerely, Carmel-Kent Chamber of Commerce. Len, I have a copy for you.
Thank you.
Kathy, I got a really dumb question, but what is a feather flying?
Is that what it is, feather flyers?
The flags that you see that, Jamie, I guess you asked the code enforcer to come to all our businesses and ask them to be taken
I
down?
didn't, it wasn't from me, it was
He
not.
told me that the supervisor had asked for the feather flag, you know the flag that I have that says gift shop?
The long poled one?
Yeah, yeah, which mine is way back off the road. I understand, sometimes a complex got carried away, but I think if we relook at this, because this is your sign law,
I don't think there's a way
many
to enforce
pages.
it.
And,
I don't think there's a way to enforce that,
What?
I don't think there's a way to enforce it.
well, we were gonna get violations if we didn't take it down.
Can you ask him to explain?
It's because it's an impermanent object, but, either we go with the whole law, I don't think you can take pieces.
So let me ask you a question. What's the difference of sticking in a temporary political sign on a corner during elections?
Because it's temporary and it has only a
But so are
certain
these
time
feather
limit.
flyers.
Yeah, they come-
Well, yeah, but it's only the month of, October
But
to
the feather
November. and then they have
flyers,
to-
but the feather
yeah.
flyers tend to
It's a
come
time
down.
period that the political signs are out. It's different.
Okay.
But most of the people had one. I mean, there are people that have 2 and 3, and, maybe making the law where if you're a business, it's 1 flag per business. If you're a complex, maybe 2, because, and setback so they're not blocking the traffic. For the reason of, right now, we look, you thought businesses was bad before. Well, guess what? You're gonna go down 52 right now, and we look like a ghost town. Because at least it brought something, some kind of attention to the businesses.
I'll talk to the code enforcement officer because
No matter what, we should
I
change
told
it.
him I wasn't going quietly.
We should make it so that there is no question. Don't
I
make
took it down, but I'm gonna put it back up because I still see other ones all over the place.
We'll
Let's
make
look
clarity.
into it.
Clarity to it. Yeah, absolutely.
So
should
can we
be
put
able
it back up until you look into
yeah,
it?
you can put
Well,
it back
I
up.
can't tell you that officially.
I put it back up.
Because Tina from Careers, she was just told to.
So I would also ask the chamber to come up with something that they would like to see written in the law, so that we could, work off of the information you like.
Traffic, and it says that in the law, you don't want to.
But that's understandable.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Can't impede the view.
No.
of
Correct.
traffic.
There's
Don't want it to
sensibility
be a
it.
safety issue. My name is Tina Cornish-Loria. I run a nonprofit for people with disabilities. It's a supported work program, and we have a fundraising thrift shop, which is next to the consignment shop, just north of ShopRite. Now, that fundraising thrift shop was up near Lake Carmel Pharmacy for over 20 years. There is a flag that says open that gets put out when we're open, which is generally 11 to 3 on maybe 5 days a week. It's run by volunteers. Everybody is, they're all volunteers raising money. I have to fundraise $350,000 a year. A code enforcer came in there last week, and a volunteer called me very upset, saying he came in and he said we had to take our flag down, and we do have one of those feather flags. It's a small one, but it says thrift on it. And I haven't gotten anything in writing. I didn't know he was coming by. Poor volunteer was upset about it. But as Catherine was saying, many people didn't even know that was a thrift shop until I put that thrift shop sign on it. And I'm going to have to close it and disappear if I can't have at least the flag that we've been having for over 20 years that simply says open when we're open, and we take it down. So I'm hoping that you can look into it, because it seems like, it's...
I haven't gotten anything in my office from this, so.
Yeah, we gotta investigate this. This is all new to us, trust me. This is.
Is it
Well,
possible?
was the code enforcer Kenneth?
Can we make a
I
motion
forget what
for
his
to
last
allow
name
this?
was.
Okay,
For the next 30
I
days.
make a motion for the next 30 days to allow, while we look into this, the feather flyers to
It's
be,
the feather flag, but it's also, again, like the one that you have at a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The wooden, just the small one that says open.
Yeah.
He made her take that down too.
Flag off the house?
I make a motion to allow the feather flyers and other flags that local businesses for the next,
Other temporary signage?
yes, until we look into it further.
Second?
Just,
sorry.
That-
I'm good.
do you
But
think
there was
that's-
no letter given to you or anything, was there? Nothing in
Because
paper?
Never
nothing
heard
came-
anything about it.
Nothing came to my office either.
And
So-
the guy, again, his name was Kenneth something, I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he went all the way up and down, all the way like up to Bernie's and Catherine. He went to me, he went to Deliland, told everybody they had to get all of them, and everybody took them down.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
get on
So that, I make the motion.
it. Second.
All in favor?
Chris, that's a feather flag.
Okay.
Let me see.
So fly your flags.
The ones like that.
What's your feather flags fly free?
Yes.
There's a good tongue twister.
Susan Kotzer, Town of Kent. Speaking of signs, the town has that huge sign outside at the entrance that advertises different functions. It's really large. I have had vehicles come into my lane. I'm coming down the hill, they're coming up the hill. They come into my lane to avoid the side of the sign, whether it's the shadow that the sign is promoting or the sign itself, but it's too big for that spot. And I know the
It's too
town.
close to the edge of the line on the side of the road.
It can't go any further because it's on the
100%.
curve.
I don't know why
So
they have that one out there.
we have-
We did have
I-
a smaller one out there.
The smaller one's down by Mobile.
I know there are
I know, but
smaller
maybe they
ones,
can-
so could we put a smaller one there or nothing at all?
I'll ask if they can
Just right
swap
one.
them.
You'll ask?
I'll ask Richie, because they're his. I'll ask if he can swap them
Or
for
they
me.
need to make a spot to get them off the road, the side of the road altogether.
But I don't know where else, if there's a guardrail there.
Open it up.
Yeah.
Tear down the guardrail?
With, that's a line in the budget.
But I think it goes down.
State DOT might have a
But
problem with
can't
that.
you just back it up onto the
Tell them to use a feather
The curb?
flag.
I, oh, that's,
We gotta be able to back it up onto the curb so it's off the road.
okay. Any other public comment?
All right. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for potential for litigation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So just to remind everyone that we're doing the budget hearing on October 29th. So it's not our usual meeting or whatever. It's not, on the date for town board meetings, but October 29th is the budget hearing.